Xbox is fixing one of their biggest mistakes yet. Xbox just confirmed that there's no more exclusives. What's up, y'all, and welcome back to my channel, Xbox Ready, where we talk everything going on in the world of Xbox. And we're back, baby. We're back. I'm bringing Mr. Jimmy Champagne back on the channel, the man himself, the man who really was like 50% of making this channel what it is in the first place. I'm glad to have him back, even though sometimes he really pisses off my freaking followers. Like last time after the showcase, he was like, the Series S blows, no one should buy this.
I still think that. You're not going to change my mind.
Well, I actually talked to some people in the industry.
Yeah, whatever. I like the big fridge and the little pencil case behind you.
Oh, yeah. Remember how many people this confused because they were like, that Xbox is like massive. What?
I played Gears of War 5's expansion Hive Busters with 2 people over the weekend. That expansion's great. 5% of people who have it have played it based on the achievements, so all of your viewers should check it out.
I'm glad to have Jimmy back on the channel because I just think, well, 1, he's a cool dude. 2, I respect his opinions about gaming. 3, he knows a lot about Xbox, despite what y'all may think. He runs a PlayStation channel, a Deck Ready channel, but he has a long-standing relationship with Xbox. He even wrote a dope-ass like documentary of sorts before the documentary they came out with a couple of years ago, documenting the whole history of Xbox and like everything that they've done for the industry. So glad to have him back, get his opinion on things. First thing we're gonna be diving into right now is Redfall. You remember Redfall, Jim?
Yeah, I actually want to go back and play it now that it has an offline mode and it's like apparently fixed and everything, even though it's not getting any more content. But now it's just like a Far Cry style open world game, which sounds kind of interesting. If I get time, I might go check it out.
Yeah, I mean, it's got the, performance mode in it. It's actually like, performs like it should have at launch. It's still like not the best game ever. I don't think it's as bad as maybe the media and the internet made it out to be.
My problems were performance. I wasn't like down on how it played. Like I like looter shooters. I like the world. I like way Arcane's shooters feel. So yeah, all my problems were with performance because I have a 4090 PC and I couldn't hold 60 frames per second. So that's a problem.
Yeah, it was pretty rough. And I mean, we have a long history with this game too, because we previewed it. We previewed it back when like April before it came out. And at the time they were like, yeah, we're gonna bundle in, like we're gonna have this bite back edition, which is basically like, it guarantees that you'll have like access to the new characters that we're definitely gonna drop and all the new DLC that we're definitely gonna drop. And then a year later, nothing ever came of that, and people had bought it. Like a bunch of people had bought it, and then they closed the studio and there was still no word. Like, so there was definitely not going to be any DLC at that point. So people were wondering like, what the hell, man? Like, did I just get shafted out of $100? Which is, I mean, you kinda did, but not anymore, because they're finally issuing full refunds on both Steam and Xbox to the people who bought the Bite Back edition, who paid that $100. I don't know if it's like they're refunding you the portion of like the DLC or they're giving full refunds.
It's good that they're refunding people. I mean, they have to. It's not even like a PR move. It's just like they legally have to refund you. So I guess it's good that they did it pretty quick and didn't make you wait like 3 years or something.
This video is brought to you by Manscaped. Manscaped is the leader in men's grooming and hygiene products. And guys, summertime is upon us. It's about to get hot. It's about to get sweaty. So be prepared. Get yourself the Manscaped Buff Bundle. That includes the Manscaped Body Buffer. So throw out the old washcloth, throw out the old loofah. It's made from 100% antibacterial silicone. And unlike your standard loofah, washcloth, whatever, it's got this cool little grip on the back. It's flexible, it is tough, and it'll have you feeling squeaky clean after every shower. Especially when you pair it up with the patented Manscaped Shower Gel, baby. This shower gel is infused with aloe and sea salt, and on top of all that, like Manscaped's other products, like their lotions, their crop duster, their ball preservers, it smells great. It's kind of the same vibe as like, when you go to a barber shop and they give you a really nice, clean, tight fade, and then they put that good smelling stuff all along your hairline. It's kind of the same vibes. If you want to upgrade your shower game with the Buff Bundle that includes the 2 shower gels and the body buffer, you can go on over to Manscaped.com and use my code XboxReady for free international shipping plus 20% off of your purchase. Thanks again to Manscaped for sponsoring this video. Yeah, so it's clear that this game, since they closed down Arcane Austin, it's not going to get the Cyberpunk treatment as maybe people had thought when they were like, oh, they're like updating it, whatever. It's not going to have that type of a comeback. Do you think, like, with the showcase and everything like that, that people have moved on?
I don't think there were enough people involved to really be a big issue, right? Because I'd guess the vast majority of people who played that game did it through Game Pass. So like maybe there were some people who bought the Bite Back one just to get that early access, like people did with Forza Horizon 5 and everything. But I mean, like, that game was not popular to begin with, so the amount of people and it had bad previews. Not gonna name any creators, but I was like, y'all seeing this performance? And they were all like, no, it looks like it's running fine. And I was like, okay. But yeah, it previewed poorly for people who can see frame rate, of which there are a few, I guess. And so I'd assume that the pre-orders weren't strong. The amount of people who bought the $100 one, it's probably an extremely small number to begin with.
Yeah, and I mean, overall, I feel like with this showcase, they kind of left behind that like 2022 Redfall kind of release. It was bad at the time because it was like the first Bethesda Xbox exclusive that we had seen after a long ass drought in 2022 where we only kind of got like smaller games. It was, I'm not gonna lie, like it was pretty bad, but that kind of makes me think like it can't get any worse than that, right? I say that now and then something crazy is gonna happen, but
especially now that Hellblade's out the door, like that's not hanging on their back anymore. They've got a like free and clear slate going forward, and everything they showed at the showcase looked awesome pretty much. So like hopefully it's downhill for them from here.
The problem is that like every game when they're not coming out at a consistent clip is seen as like Xbox's savior. And Redfall was one of those. It was like, well, we haven't had a first party game in a long ass time. So this is going to really put them back on the map and it's going to be awesome. And like, it's a live service game. People are going to be playing it for a long time. Didn't quite happen. Starfield comes along. Oh, like it's the savior of Xbox. Like this is really going to turn everything around. It comes out. There's some people who really like it, some people who really don't. Hellblade 2 comes out. It's the first party release of 2024 for Xbox, the true one, outside of like accidental exclusive Palworld. And again, oh, it's going to be Xbox's savior. It's going to have a new bar. Also kind of split on the opinions with that in terms like with fans and critics. And you bring up a good point. Like hopefully from here on, it's like just kind of smooth sailing for them. Matt Booty just did a interview and he touched on that a little bit. He was like, yeah, now that, you know, everyone says that the showcase was dope and it seems to be universally positively received, hopefully like we'll be able to get close to that goal of like, you know, games being released at a steady cadence, at a consistent clip. Where have we heard this before, bro? Like, is this really the time that we're gonna get that? Because you got like, how many times have I said that on this channel? Like, oh, just wait. This year we're gonna get a AAA game every quarter. It's gonna be flowing like water. There's gonna be so many games we won't even know what to do with it.
This has been a thing since the Xbox One generation. Phil Spencer's been saying this, like, oh, just wait. Like, we've got a lot of great stuff in the works. And then, you know, Scalebound gets canceled. Phantom Dust, they showed a whole trailer for, despite, like, at that showcase, the game had already been canceled and they showed a trailer for it anyway. So we're far away from that. And they do have good games, like Forza Horizon 5, but that was a long time ago. But, you know, that showcase, a lot of the stuff was gameplay and it looked pretty good. Like, I didn't see things running poorly all that much. And, you know, South of Midnight had full-on gameplay and like cutscenes and everything. So I believe that's a real game. Gears of War E-Day, we've heard, is like being targeted for 2025. I'm really excited for that. And you're seeing a material effect of people playing on Xbox because Gears Ultimate went up like 300 or 400% in terms of players this week just from that E-Day announcement.
They have a lot to be excited about. I don't think they're out of the woods yet. We've seen good showcases from Xbox in the past, maybe not up to the caliber that we saw recently with this past one, but we've seen good shows from them in the past. And what is missing is kind of the follow through. And like, they not only do they have to ship these games on time, they have to make sure that they're fun and they're good and there's no performance issues, there's no bugs. So they're not entirely out of the woods just yet. But yes, I do think there is cause for cautious optimism, I would say, especially with the gear stuff. And I'm super excited for Fable. That's like one of the things that sparked my love for Xbox and RPGs, that it still endures today.
It looked really good. Yeah, I'm excited for Fable. I like Playground Games. The only reason I'm mad about Fable is it's taking away developers from Horizon 6, which I love Fable, but I'm always like in on Horizon. So hopefully they've got two teams kind of split working on both games, because Motorsport is a mess, dude. That game, not good.
He also said, Matt Booty, first of all, he sounded like sick as hell. He was clearing his throat like every other 2 seconds on this podcast, and I felt really bad because we've all been there. He talked a little bit about Tango Gameworks closing, which I was surprised, and good on the interviewer for kind of pressing that. And I wanted to get your take on this because you kind of had some interaction with Tango before they closed down, before Hi-Fi Rush. And what he was saying was basically like, you know, he wasn't going to get into the nitty gritty of it, but he made this cryptic kind of statement of like, just because a team was set up for success at one point and they delivered a successful game like Hi-Fi Rush doesn't mean that they're set up for success going into the future. And I wanted, like, are we buying that, bro? Like, are we? Because you talked to the new dude in charge after Shinji left.
The only reason I do kind of understand where he's coming from is because the first Evil Within sold okay, like not amazing. It was not at Resident Evil levels, and it didn't review extremely well. Like that was a hard 79 Metacritic game. Like it was almost great, but that's a game I never go back and play. The Evil Within 2 is a much better game. It's one of my favorite survival horror games ever, but nobody played that game. Like I think it sold like tens of thousands of copies. You know, like yeah, it might have built up a bigger fan base over the past like 6-7 years since that game came out, but is that enough to really warrant a full budget third game in that like series that long after? Like, would that draw enough people in? Hi-Fi Rush, for everything we heard about how great it was, like it scored well critically. I mean, check the achievements. People don't really play it all that much. They start it, they get to the first or second level, and then they bounce off of it pretty quickly. And on PlayStation, it didn't chart. And on PC, it was in the top sellers for a little bit. So I'm assuming it didn't sell all that well, and it's not retaining people on Game Pass. So like, it just feels like a bunch of unfortunate scenarios where these games are coming out, and even if they're great, people aren't playing them. So now the metrics engagement, they want engagement, and they're looking at Tango and saying, well, you guys made great games, they just didn't land, and we need games that land right now.
Yeah, he didn't also mention that in regards to like Sea of Thieves and porting it over to PS5. He was like, not only is it selling well and proving popular on PlayStation, but like when it launched on PlayStation, we saw an uptick in engagement. That's the exact words that, you know, that you were just using, in engagement on both Xbox and on PC. Hellblade 2, exclusive launch for Xbox, obviously. And kind of what Matt was saying at the end of this interview has me thinking, like, how many more Xbox exclusives are we going to get? Because he answered this question where it was like, you know, he was being pressed about, oh, you shipped over 4 games to other platforms. Like, what was the thought process behind that? And da-da-da-da-da. Kind of, it was a very quick moment, but he ultimately said, we are committed to launch exclusives. Launch exclusives, and also putting our games on as many screens as possible, like wherever, blah, 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 blah. But that little word, launch, I'm like, maybe I'm thinking too much into this. Maybe I got like my tinfoil hat on, but that is a very specific wording that makes me wonder, like, okay, these games are going to launch exclusive, but there's no guarantee that they're going to stay exclusive.
I just talked about something similar to this on PS Ready, where you know, they're doing the day and date PC and PS5 releases for games like Concord, but then something like, I don't know, The Last of Us Part 3, whenever that comes out, that would be exclusive to PS5 for an extended period of time. And that was stupid because they made a comment where they're expecting people who are playing on PC to then go pick up a PlayStation 5. I think it's a little bit different for Xbox though, where if these games come out and they release like a few in a row that are high quality, there's going to be a want for PlayStation people to play those games when they come out versus waiting 6 months, a year, 2 years. And the cost difference between grabbing a Series X and building a whole PC is massive, right? Like if you want to build a PC that, you know, is worth waiting for these games to come to PC for, you're spending $2,000-$3,000, whereas you can go get a Series X right now for what, like $370, $380 if you buy it open box. Like, big cost difference there. And me personally, for Gears E-Day, I'm not waiting for that to come to PS5. I'm going to play that on my Series X. But if I didn't have a Series X, I would buy one for that game just because it looks that good.
Yeah, I mean, at one point, I will admit, I was like, this whole multi-platform stuff, I don't really mind. Even if they went full multi-platform, I don't think I would super mind. But being there at the showcase, I kind of swung back around. I was like, no, like, I see, even if it doesn't make business sense wise, like, even if you could make more money releasing a game on multiple platforms, whatever, like, the core fandom, you have to give them some exclusives. Like, you gotta throw them a bone in order to, like, retain those fans. What do you think? Like, do you think there are younger fans of Xbox coming up? Like, I think it's getting less and less, in my opinion. So, like, you don't want to lose the fans that have been with you.
Sony's having the same problem too, where Sony spent the last generation building the sad dad era of games, right? Where you've got The Last of Us, where Joel's a sad dad. You've got God of War, where Kratos is a sad dad, because the people making those games entered fatherhood and were like grappling with it. It made a lot of sense at the time, but now they're making games like Lego Horizon Adventures because they're like, shit, we got all these old people, like 25 to 35 year olds who are playing a bunch of PS5 games, but we have nothing to capitalize on this younger audience that's Nintendo's bread and butter. And I think Xbox is in the same boat where, yeah, they have Minecraft and that's a huge money driver for them, but like, they do need to start making some newer franchises to kind of throw into the mix between stuff like Fable and Gears, where Gears is for people in that 25 to 35 age range, so is Fable. And I agree that they need exclusives because I have no problem buying an Xbox. I'd love there to be different experiences on both consoles, right? Like, I'm not going to wait a year for Fable. I'm not going to wait a year for Gears E-Day. I do have a nice PC, and that's probably where I'll play those games. But, you know, being able to bounce my save back and forth with Starfield, that inspired me enough to play on the Xbox PC app versus using Steam and buying the game again, because I liked being able to sit on my couch and play Starfield when I wanted to. And then if I wanted to get that keyboard and mouse action, I could just take everything right there to my desk. You know, like, that is a cool experience.
It's like single player stuff that should stay exclusive. I think that's exactly what Xbox should do as well. Like, the single player thing, like Fable should stay Xbox exclusives in perpetuity. Like, they shouldn't be shipping that over. Sea of Thieves, whatever. Like, it's a multiplayer game. It's older at this point, and like we've seen, it's really worked out for them. Gears E-Day, Xbox exclusive till the end of time. Halo till the end of time as well. But like any new like multiplayer-ish stuff or smaller stuff, I don't really mind. But the language that Matt is using of like, these will launch, but we don't really know if they're gonna stay exclusive. And we know that Microsoft, I think Jez Corden says it's Project Latitude is what the process was called, of like shipping their games over to other platforms, and that there's no red line. There's got to be a red line.
There has to be. And I feel like is on that red line is Forza Horizon 5, because on the one hand, that is a live service game. It does extremely well on PC still. Like, I think I checked the other day and 260,000 people were actively playing it at the same time. But on the other hand, that is a prestige point for Xbox. That's like that one game of the year from IGN the year it came out. So that's one where like, I wouldn't be mad if it was on PlayStation Day 1, but I'd get it if it wasn't.
And last but not least, we may be talking about the showcase that Xbox just did, but what about the showcase, well, sort of showcase that they got coming up? I'm, of course, referring to Gamescom, which happens over in Germany. That's why me and Jimmy never go, because we never just find ourselves randomly in Germany.
Yeah, I mean, if Xbox wants to send us, I mean, I'll go. I twist my arm a little bit, you know, send me to Germany. I love beer.
That would be so awesome. Like, just walking around with like a giant jug of beer, like playing freaking like on the Xbox floor. That's how I imagine it in my head. That's probably not how it goes, but like, I just imagine being wasted and playing games.
We've never been, so
We've heard some rumblings about Xbox is going to have a huge presence at Gamescom. Weirdly enough, Sony and Nintendo are skipping out. They're like, nah, we're good. And this could be Xbox's opportunity to show something really, really cool. They don't traditionally show anything like massive at Gamescom. They're like, here's like the first 10 minutes of Starfield. I think they showed off last year. Here's like a playable demo of some first party games like Motorsport and Towerborn that are coming up. But that could maybe change this year. We were hearing from some of our friends at Xbox that they were going to have like a mini Gamescom here because they wanted to make sure influencers were there to cover it. So I assume like they're going to show like some pretty cool stuff or have some pretty cool demos.
Gears Collection. Let's go. What is the problem with this franchise? I'll give you the quickest breakdown of all time. Gears 1, you can play it on PC, not available on Steam. It's the Windows Universal program. Fucking sucks. Hard to play, hard to run, not a good experience because you can't limit the frame rate. Gears 4, also not on Steam. Gears 2, not on PC. Gears 3, not on PC. So if you want to play Gears games on Steam, all you have is Gears 5 and Gears Tactics, which Gears Tactics is amazing. I'm like halfway through it, but like they need a collection, dude. I played Gears 1 through 4 when 4 came out, and I thought 2 and 3 looked really good. Me and my buddies booted up 3 after we finished Hivebusters. It looks good still. It's 30 FPS. Like, you know, they got to get that. That'd be the perfect time to announce it for if this is real. That we've been hearing about it forever. I hope it's real.
Yeah, I mean, Gears, I wanted to see more of Towerborn, which is a game that you will not.
Yeah, that looks cool.
It doesn't. I was just about to say that it doesn't look like a game that you would give a shit about. I liked the Banner Saga that was Stoic's last game. This looks like this game looks like Castle Crashers, but like 3D and like more in depth, more advanced. They had a demo for it last Gamescom. They said they're gonna have a demo of it this game. They said it was gonna come out 2024, so I don't know. Like we're halfway through. We could really use like something like that. Yeah, a release date or something.
Forza Horizon 6, maybe they tease it, but it seems like something for an E3 style showcase. I just ripped Sony a new one for skipping Gamescom because when I was in high school, it was E3 was for PlayStation 3 and Gamescom was for Vita. So I would always get more excited for Gamescom because that's when they would announce all their Vita games and everything. And it was always cool. Like I miss Sony showing up to these events, but you know, if they're not and Nintendo's not, like even if Xbox has a mediocre show, at least they had something there.
This could be a big opportunity for them. Like it's been a nice like 2 weeks for Xbox because they had a good showcase and everyone was like, state of play, it wasn't as good. It could be an opportunity for them to pick up on some of that momentum and enjoy some of that positive press again, especially by comparison. And
it would be nice if it was another great show because back to back, especially after that state of play, man, that was so bad. I was looking at the comments. I was like, are the people on PS Ready going to be like upset that I'm like shitting all over the showcase? But no, they were mad too. Like PlayStation fans are like, announce some games. Yeah, let's see what the first party's got going on. So like the crowd, they have no competition right now over at Xbox. Just announce some cool stuff like a Gears collection.
Yeah. Anyways, guys, that's all the Xbox stuff we got to talk about today. Thanks again to Jimmy Champagne for setting aside some time in his schedule to come on here and talk Xbox. If you made it this far into the video, if you like Xbox content, if you liked this video, make sure you subscribe, set your notifications to all to be alerted whenever I post a video. Definitely have Jimmy back on here again at some point, so if you want to check out his thoughts some more, check back in on that. But other than that, thanks again for watching. We'll see you in the next video.
Bye.